Hey guys, C-Dub here, and I finished playing the Gears of War series, so I thought I'd rank them from worst to best. So here it is, 1 through 5, Gears of War. And the worst Gears of War game to me is Gears 4. Now, some people say 5, but it's generally between 4 and 5 on which Gears of War is the worst. And I'm gonna go with 4. And the reason I say 4 is because those goddamn robots. I mean, there's half of the game, just half the game, fighting robots. That's all you're doing is just fighting and mowing down robots. And what the fuck? That is not what we play Gears of War for. I mean, they literally took Gears of War, the title, and tried to like put them with robots. Like, no. So that's like the first half of this game is fighting robots. I mean, good God, that first half. That to me ruined the whole experience because it's so long. You could have made this a level, but instead you made this half of the fucking game. Couldn't do it. Just, Now in the second part, it's when it picks up. It's when we actually start to fight the monsters and, actually become a Gears of War game. I do like how it ends being in the big robot suit and going into the Locust hive and taking them out and fighting with the robots. Like, that was cool. That was a cool little twist because we normally don't get that. We're usually the soldier and, you're on the ground. But this time we're in like this big mecha suit trying to take them out. Fun little twist at the end there. So I do give it that. But that's the only problem is the first half sucks and the other half is Gears of War. So first half of suckage, first half Gears of War, that's why to me it's the worst one. The other ones don't have that problem, but this one does. Also, I gotta talk about the protagonist JD, who is Marcus Phoenix's son. And for him, I'm sorry, I just was never feeling him. He was not a great MC to me. He was just kind of there. It was just like we don't have that connection like we did with Marcus. Like, it's just not there for me. I did not like this character. He's kind of this like high school type jock dude. To me, at least, he seems that way. This funny type jock dude, that's how he comes off as to me, and I was not feeling that for a Gears of War protagonist. So to me, I didn't like JD. Some people might, I don't know, but to go from Marcus to that's also another reason this game is seriously lacking. Now next is Gears 5, and just because this is coming in as the second worst does not mean this is a bad game. Honestly, I don't even think Gears of War 4 was a bad game. It's just first half was so bad, it's like a mediocre game. It's very, But Gears of War 5, or Gears 5, to me, is a good game. They replaced JD with Kate, and Kate, to me, is a really good, strong protagonist. I know some people might not like Kate, and they might have felt like Gears of War was going to this female type of character, but she was way better than JD. I'm sorry. Just keep it real. She was way better. Way better in every aspect. And I kind of like how they put it with her having the Queen connection and having a backstory with that. So that was also a nice little twist if we are going to go the female protagonist route, especially with Gears of War being such a masculine, type of game. If you're going to have the female main character protagonist route, having her with the Lotus Queen backstory with her mom and all that, that was a good way to introduce her in if we're going to go that way. As far as the graphics, to me, this might be the best Gears of War graphics in the whole series. I know Gears of War 4 was good, but I like how 5 did it with the whole blood and having it all on the armor. I just liked the style of it. I think this was the best graphic type of style for any Gears of War game. Well, maybe not style, but it's definitely the best looking type of graphics for any Gears of War game, in my opinion, at least. I think the gameplay is a little better than Gears 4 because they do introduce Jack and you can actually have him do a whole bunch of stuff. So that's a nice little twist that they added. And Gears of War 4 gameplay just was not all there to me. The shotgun to me was lacking in that game. I think it's better in this one. I think all the weapons are better in this one. And just how it feels and playing through it, I would say gameplay wise, Gears of War 5 is better. Also, this might be a little cheap, but I'm going to add this anyway. The DLC for Gears of War 5 is fucking amazing. I think that should have been the main game. Really, really great DLC. I know we're kind of going through just the main series, and this DLC is kind of like on the side, but that should have been the main game for Gears of War 5. That DLC was really, really fucking good. And I generally hate DLC, but I got it free with the Game Pass because I wasn't buying that shit. But it's really good. DLC, really, really top notch. It's better than that whole fucking Gears of War Judgment thing. Now the next three you can rank in any order to me because it's kind of 1A, 1B, 1C. There's not like there's a big gap between any of these. To me, this is just preference. Now this was very tough for me, but I'm gonna go with 2 being next on the list. And the reason I'm going to go and say 2 is because 2 actually gives you the best of both worlds. To me, 1 was more about the scary element, and 3 was more about the war. And 2 combines all of that. They still have the scariness and the dark feeling of the first game, but it also has that war element that the third game really ups the ante in. And honestly, I just like it where it's one or the other instead of combined. I'm not complaining, but that's just a preference. And the game is still really fucking amazing. You go through it with Dom's wife. To me, Dom has a bigger plot point in this game, I think, than Marcus Phoenix. It's all about Dom and that, and being just down underground in the Locust like cavern. So that was really cool and a really nice touch for this game. But you also got the Locusts warring with each other. There's a lot of war stuff here, and it's also just very dark still. Like, it still has a lot of fucked up shit happening with some of the members of your team getting killed off. So it still keeps that first game feel, like I said, and the third game with the war and how the Locusts are going after each other and Lambent and all that. You get that in this game. And if you like that, you'll probably have 2 as your favorite game, which I cannot complain about. Just for me, preference wise, I'd go with a different one. Side note, horde mode is hard as shit in the second game. Like, fucking Christ, the horde mode is just, it's fucking ridiculous. The fourth one sucked, so I didn't even mention that, and I didn't really play 5s like that, but yeah. The second one's horde mode is hard as shit. It's fucking very hard. Next to me, coming in second, would be Gears of War, the first game. And this game has a very, very fondness to my heart. I like the difficulty aspect of it, where they had like just easy and I think insane and hardcore, something like that. They just took normal out. There was no normal mode, and I always beat it on the hard mode, just not very hard. And good God, that first final boss, like in the first game, that final boss is ridiculously hard. Probably the hardest boss in the whole Gears of War series to me. I had the most trouble with him, probably because of the harder setting, but either way, that motherfucker was just no joke. Throughout the game, too, it just has this dark, grimy atmosphere. It's very dark. You start off with Marcus Phoenix in a jail cell, going through it, and the fighting and stuff, it picks up very quickly. And then you go to, like, this house or lab, wherever it is, and it's very, like I said, it's very dark. A lot of people are dying in fucked up ways. The COG is still on their bullshit, and you see it throughout the first one and how some of the people do not like the COG. It's actually like a very creepy type of horror game, horror element type of thing, where I'm more worried about the shit that's like behind me instead of like the war, because when you're playing through it, it feels like just shit can pop out of nowhere, and it just has a scary type of tone. It's very horror-esque, more so than action war in this game, and I did enjoy it. I'm just glad that it wasn't like just specifically horror, even though it has a lot of horror elements in this first game. And my favorite would be Gears of War 3. The reason Gears of War 3 is my favorite is because I love the war aspect. I did love the horror one in the first game, but I'm not a big horror genre or horror game player. That's not me. So I feel like if you are big on the horror aspect or you love horror games, you'll love the first one more. That'll probably be your favorite. But the third one is a lot more action, war. It's sunny. It's a lot more sunny than the first two. You're out and you're just fighting the whole Gears of War with the Lambent and the Locust. They are all beefing as well, so it's just war throughout the whole game, and to me, that speaks to me more. The series wraps up pretty great as well. Dom does sadly die, I guess, spoilers, but I felt like how they wrapped it up was as good as you could make it. It's a very satisfying ending, especially going and fighting the Locust Queen, who we've been dealing with since I believe the first game, and we've been fighting and beefing with her, and I just love the levels of this game and the gameplay. So for me, that is my favorite, just because it speaks to me more. But honestly, you could pick any of those three, and I don't think anyone could argue with you. 1 through 3 is a great trilogy of games, and you can't go wrong with either one as your favorite. Also, I love the horror mode, by the way. Like, the second one was fucking way too hard, and the third one, they gave you a lot of different ways to combat the Locust and made it easier. Still hard as shit, but it is nowhere near as difficult as the second one, in my opinion. Some may find the second one easier, but for me, the third one was a lot easier because I like that you were able to buy stuff and buy a whole bunch of different items to defend yourself with in this game. And that is my list. And yeah, I just wanted to go through this, do a quick video. I just went through the whole Gears of War series, and it's a great series. Really, the only one seriously lacking is that 4th game. Like, that's the only one that really lacks to me. Some people may say 5 too, but 5 to me was really not that bad as compared to 4. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this. See it about. I will do another one of these soon. I've already done Doom. I've done Mega Man. Sometime I do these type of game videos. So if you liked it, let me know. See it about. Peace.